Soccerworld Fan TV. We got another neutral fan reaction, a City reaction of the game. Of course, we are going to be streaming the Man City versus Arsenal game, and we are going to have reactions for that as well. So make sure to see his reaction on that as well. But you saw
the Blues.
So you've seen the Liverpool game and everything. Everton versus Liverpool, and what a game as a neutral and everything. But please tell us about the game.
So yeah, I would only seen the second half of the game, but what a game, man. Like, it's Derby Day, the energy's there, everybody's making crazy tackles. It's always going to be a goal fest with Everton, Liverpool, even if it's one-sided with Liverpool dominating. Or, as you've seen today, Everton, they're fighting back against Liverpool. I don't think they were as clinical as they were last season, or you've seen in a lot of the big games. But I think there's a good point for Everton. I think they're going to be challenging for at least the Europa League spot this season. So, yeah, it's a good point for them against the champions.
And, based on the game as well, who do you think had more desire or had to prove a point the most? Liverpool, who have lost horrendously against Aston Villa, or do you think Everton with the whole 10-year thing and, them not winning against us, winning against Liverpool for 10 years?
Yeah, obviously they want to win against the Derby, or Derby against Liverpool, but I think Liverpool didn't show their character that we're used to. Like, they're always pressing high, they're always winning the ball all over the pitch, they're always working for each other. I don't think we really seen that today. They were kind of sloppy in possession, and they didn't create as many chances as we're used to seeing. And for Everton, I think there's it's a good point for them.
Mm-hmm. And another thing as well, where we were talking about, the offside decision, which, if you've seen the streaming highlights and everything, you would see a certain someone was absolutely going ballistic and everything. But I think we can be obvious and say, you know what, it was offside. It doesn't matter how far offside it is. I think it's quite fair. But do you think with these marginal offsides, do you think it's really affecting the game?
Yeah, because how offside was he really? Like a couple centimeters? I have to go see it again because that's so close. There was something that Wenger said, that he, instead of having a player be offside by those little margins, if one of your body parts that can touch the ball is onside, then the goal's gonna count. I think that's a little bit too much, but I think there should be a little bit of leniency with attackers, because VAR, they can't pinpoint exactly when the pass is gonna be played. It's only for a certain instance. So it's kind of like a debate to when the offside is going to really happen. So we can't really time that perfectly. So
actually, I do want to talk about that. Actually, about one of the offside situations where I think Van Dijk's hand was actually offside as well, where they were measuring that. Isn't that also?
That's not a part of the rules. Or that is a part of the rules where you can't score with your hand. So
right? So then
that doesn't really make sense. So it's not very consistent VAR. I'm not sure what's going on in that dressing room, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen it as well with the whole handball, controversy as well, where, you can't score, it's a penalty regardless of where the hand position is. Of course, they have made, I think, adjustments now with the rules and whatnot, but then, even when that came right in my mind, hold on a minute, you can't score with your hand. Why is that considered offside as well? But it is what it is. I think we can say, how the game went and everything, I think it's a fair result that a draw is the right.
Yeah, I think it was a good result. I think it's a fair result. I don't see one team dominating the other team, and I don't think either team really deserved to win. Liverpool almost won, but margins. It's all margins.
That's true. We talk about where Everton's going to end up and everything. And I think people are giving more and more respect based on the start they have made. They pretty much won all their games, I believe, right? Apart from this game today.
Yeah.
And what is it? Liverpool, as much as they've been getting the results needed, some of the the last result, of course, they lost and everything. They're still out and about, but they haven't looked convincing as either. So do you think Liverpool has that chance, to go and do the repeats? I know it's early days still, but It's quite
Yeah,
telling.
it's still too early in the season to tell. Like people are already rating off half the top six teams for winning the title, and they've only played 4 or 5 games, so I don't really think that's a fair comparison. I think it's all about consistency. If Liverpool can find their footing again, and if they can perform like they did last season, then they're gonna have a fair chance at winning the title. But yeah, it's still too early to tell.
And with Everton as well, I think again, once again, early days. But do you think that they can rise above that kind of stigma? Because we've seen teams before with Everton where they look like they should be challenging for like top 8 and or even top 7, right? Maybe potentially even top 6, right, with the squads they
Yeah.
had over the years, but they failed to perform and they kind of tanked. But do you think this time this could be the year for them to really
I
make a
think
statement?
it's gonna be all about consistency. If Dominic Calvert-Lewin can keep scoring, if James can keep pulling the strings like he's doing so far, if Allen's that solid player in the back or in the midfield for them, yeah, it's all about their consistency. Like we seen last season with Leicester, they performed so well in most of the season, and at the end of the season they dropped off, and that's what eventually cost them a higher position in the table. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's all about consistency.
And one final thing, I do want to talk about injuries because I think it is going to be, a massive impact for both teams if the injuries are severe. One of them is Van Dijk, who
Yeah.
that I think for any Liverpool fan right now to have both Alisson and Van Dijk out for a large sustainable amount of time is always a danger. And with Everton, of course, Richarlison, yes, he did get the red card, but he also did pick up an injury. So for both teams, how would it affect them?
I think that affects Liverpool way more than any other team. You see the influence Van Dijk has in the back. He's demanding. He's trying to be a leader on the pitch. He's trying to coordinate this defense. So I think that's a really big loss if he's out for a long time, and that could potentially cost them the title at the end of the season if Joe Gomez or Matip can't replace him. So I think that's a bigger loss for Liverpool. For Everton, um, Richarlison is a big player for them, but Iwobi's not going to give him the same end product as Richarlison. I think Bernard's a good replacement. He can come in and he can show Ancelotti why he should be starting week in week out. But yeah, I think it's a bigger loss for Liverpool than Everton.
Hmm. Yeah, and yes, that's about it, really. Thank you so much for giving your opinions on the game and everything. If you like his opinions and everything, please refer to the links below and support him on
Yeah,
all his platforms.
okay, thank you,
And
appreciate it.
yeah, if you like his opinions, please like. And if you like what we're doing, please subscribe to the channel because we are giving the best opinions out there in Canadian. Well, because we are a Canadian channel at the end of the
Yeah,
day, giving what is it? Our views on like European soccer at the end of the
the
day.
best views.
The best views, the number one views. So yeah, thank you so much once again. And yeah, take care and peace.
Yeah, take care.